All right, so this is the Cody Firearms Museum. We are the largest public arms collection probably in the country. There's technically some that are more guns in the collection or more things in the collection, but we have the most on display. About 7,000 guns in the collection, about 4,200 on display right now. We cover all of American history all of firearms history from 1400s to present.
Wow.
About 1400s to present. The display on the back wall is a little brief history of our collection. We got our start as the Winchester Arms Collection in New Haven, Connecticut, and that grew from the 1800s into a technical reference collection for the company. And then they decided, well, let's try and start a museum. Realized that the for-profit company isn't really running a nonprofit museum on the side is not a great venture, so they eventually moved the collection out here to Cody, Wyoming in the 70s, and dedicated the collection out here in 76. Became our own. We built this wing of the museum in 88 and renovated it 6 years ago. Today was the opening for the renovation, or 5 years ago today, on July 6th. Wow. That's what I was trying to say.
Wow.
And so we have all sorts of firearms history represented. The first artifacts you see are along this wall. The first thing you see is not a firearm, but is a holster from Abercrombie & Fitch. I assume you know that brand?
Yep.
All right. They were a sporting goods supplier in the early 1900s. They sold guns, ammo, gear, including holsters just like that.
Wow.
Whoa.
They were around that long.
What's the baseball one?
So the baseball one, that is the next artifact you see. All these are meant to sort of show people that we're not, these stories connect to a wider history. It's not just, just the guns and technical details themselves. This is an M1 carbine stock from World War II, made by Hilrich and Radsby, better known by their trade name, Louisville Slugger. So
Wow.
that was made at the same factory that still turns out Louisville Slugger baseball bats.
Wow.
So
That's crazy. So the US government would have just sent them the mold or sent them the plans to make.
They were hired as a contractor. Like many companies were hired as sort of civilian contractors for military production, and the government was somewhat smart about it. They tried to farm that out to, related experience. So Louisville Slugger's not going to make ration packs for the troops. They're going to make a stock because they can do woodworking. That kind
wow.
of thing.
Yeah, cool.
So that's what they ended up doing.
Wow.
And then the first gun you see is this Winchester shotgun that belonged to Henry Ford, given to him by Harvey Firestone, two recognizable automobile names. Henry Ford, he's credited with the production line and mass production. Really, his invention is mechanization of the production line. He actually came to Winchester and Colt and other firearms manufacturers to learn about an assembly line, but in their factories they carted everything around by hand. He thought, well, what if I just put this on a belt and move it along that way? Then we could do it. We actually have a letter in the archives from Winchester employees sort of talking about his visit, and he had proposed to them the crazy notion that he would build 100 cars in a day, and they thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But now I don't know how many F-150s are turning out a day right now, but it's certainly more than 100.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But we do have some letters about his visit to Winchester to study their assembly line before he introduced his own. So those are kind of some of the intro pieces to the collection. Basic facts. Questions, comments, concerns yet?
Not yet.
No, nothing yet.
All right. So we're going to loop around our former curator, introducing us to this one.
Oh, cool.
Love the way they display.
That's insane. It's like I got acrylic cutouts too. Oh, crossbows. Wow.
So this is the beginning of the CFM. As you can see, we're a pretty busy place in the summertime. So when we did the renovation, what we wanted to do was try and be a museum that's kind of accessible to anybody, whether you know a lot about guns, don't know a lot about guns, like them, hate them. We think that firearms history is very important, obviously, and we want everybody to feel comfortable in that space. And just like yourselves, we get visitors from all over the world with a huge variety of firearms knowledge. So some people are very comfortable around firearms, some people aren't at all. Some people maybe never seen one in person. I know you guys just did, but if you hadn't, this would have been an opportunity over here to get your hands on some firearms that have been rendered safe. So everybody hears about a bolt action firearm. It's another thing entirely to feel like, how does one work? Or a lever action, or a semi-auto, or all the different things. So this gallery that we're standing in is an intro gallery that's meant to sort of brief everybody on the basics of firearms.
Wow. That's what we're used to in New Zealand.
Yeah.
That's common.
So hopefully this gallery sort of gives everybody a base level of knowledge before they explore the rest of the museum and have some idea why some of the stuff behind us is so cool. So you see, like on that wall, all the ones on that far wall are original Winchester factory cutaways that they use for demonstration purposes to explain the different types of firearms. So if you see a rifle, what's a rifle? It's up there, and you get to see the guts of it, so to speak, and how they work. So everything in this gallery is meant to sort of explain the basics for hopefully folks that maybe are unfamiliar, or if you're really familiar, just like seeing how the insides look.
Seeing the visuals, yeah.
That's so crazy. Wow.
Then we're going to walk around here and go down the time.
Then they'll bite you if you want.
So when you shot the 92 today,
Yep.
that's that lever action is a Winchester 1892. And we have it closed off so you can't load it, it's safe to work. I promise this isn't a product placement ad, but this gun has been intact for 5 years. We've repaired all the other ones. We have not had to repair this 92 in 5 years, and you can imagine every day kids walk up here, do this about 10 times.
Yeah.
And my office is right underneath, and I hear every single one.
Oh, really?
I expect this 92 probably has somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million cycles on it, and it has not broken yet. So,
But all the rest of them.
all the other ones we've had to, repair a bit, but that one to me is really impressive.
Wow.
The other thing we have for visitors to get their basics with is a handgun Steel Challenge course simulator. So you can fire a digital course like Steel Challenge, which is a popular handgun competition.
Wow.
You get a chance to practice your stance, sight alignment, all that kind of stuff. We have the 4 rules of firearm safety.
And it talks about crossbow.
And as I noticed you were trying to sight with your left eye. So that's what's called cross-eye dominance. That's where you're maybe right-handed, left-eye dominant. And actually they make, not very common, but they make some way shooters have overcome that is like really specialized stocks. So if you walk around the corner here, we have one in the case just for that. So the other way to get around it is you can kind of tip your head over like you did to shoot, or they make a special curved shotgun stock. They actually curve it around. So when you put your cheek to the stock, the gun is shifted over to line up your
I see.
Oh.
That's actually cool.
Because remember, would you notice when I take the camera, I always have this eye?
Yeah.
It's like I do all
Which one's your
Wow.
eye?
this one.
That's a beautiful 1911.
Same.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
This one's my. I was shooting across every eye.
I barely see out.
I was shooting the whole time
Oh,
with
yeah.
my blurry eye.
Yeah.
That's so
I can
cool.
read you. It's perfect like this, but it's just long distance.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
one's not good.
Whoa. What is that?
Oh, it's this one.
Dens, look. Look at this gun.
That's.
How much do you think it weighs? Kilos or pounds?
10 kilos.
20.
Kilos.
50 kilos, 20?
Oh, yeah. I think you said 15.
She said 50.
So it's a little bit lighter than it looks, but it would be about 28 pounds, maybe 12 or 13 kilos if my conversion is quick enough.
Yeah.
This is a hunting gun that belonged to King Louis XIII of France. We think it was his boar hunting gun, but maybe a little bit of anything. The reason it's a little bit lighter than it looks is the barrel wall is actually fairly thin on this. So it has a large barrel, but it's actually relatively thin steel for what it is. Anybody know what this kind of thing's called?
A reel?
What's that?
A reel?
A reel? Nope, that is very close. That's an excellent guess, actually, based on the shape.
No idea.
All right, so this is a wheel lock because it has this giant wheel. So the earliest firearms look like this. This is a hand cannon, probably mid 1400s. That's our oldest gun in the collection. You can see it's just a hunk of pipe on end of stick.
Yeah.
The stick is actually too short there. It would actually be on like a long pole. They're actually more like staff weapons, early firearms. You crock that under your armpit and you have a lit match or slow match in this hand. You load powder, projectile, you can just see that flash hole
Oh, yeah.
at the top. So you'd be walking around, and when you're ready to fire, you take that match, touch it to the flash hole, and fire the gun. Hope for the best. The short barrels are smooth bore. They're not super accurate, and there's not a lot of powder, so there's not a lot of velocity. So you're not talking about very long range shot. You're talking about 10, 15 meters, 20 meters, something like that.
Oh wow.
The next type of firearm was this. This is called a matchlock. You see that little hook-shaped piece there? That's called a serpentine. So you take the match out of your hand, you lock it into that serpentine, and now that is what touches, rather than you have to manually put that on the flash hole every time. That does it. And then the next type of firearm we get to is this one. And this is a wheel lock, named for this big disc. And the way this one works is this jaw right here would hold a piece of pyrite. And if you look close, you see how there's grooves on the outside of that?
Yeah.
So those will grind, kind of like a cigarette lighter. Those will grind on that pyrite, create a spark, and then that ignites your gunpowder in the pan. And when I first got into firearm, how many times do you think this has to go around before it ignites the gunpowder?
3.
Once.
3? 1?
20.
20? I like that one. It's really short, so it's about a quarter turn.
Oh.
So it's very, very short. When I first started studying firearms, I didn't know anything about wheel locks. I just assumed that these spun and spun.
Yeah.
But there's a big V spring on the inside of there that holds that all together, and they each come with their own custom wrench.
Yeah.
And so every time you fire, part of the reloading process is you have to crank that back around
Oh wow.
and reset the spring inside there.
Wow.
And there's a knife.
So this is what we call the
Bayonet.
timeline of firearms history. So it starts here, goes all the way into this long hall here. It shows the progression of firearms. And it's built in a couple different ways. So this center column that you see are all made so that you can kind of get a quick approach. So if you're short on time, say you only had a half hour, you could run down this and get the progression of firearms history.
Yeah.
But if you say, you know what, I really, really love flintlocks. They're the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and I want to learn more about them. Then you can jump into these alcoves and learn more about them. Or you can even, we have what we call open storage. So you pop these open, all these drawers have additional firearms in them. Including, why I opened this drawer in particular, is this pistol. So anybody here have any knockoff Versace watches,
Maybe.
Starbucks, iPhones?
Possibly.
Possibly? So knockoffs are not a new thing. So all these pistols up here you see, like this set here, this is an Adams set of pistols. We have Thrasher, I think we have an Egg. So these are all names of English gun makers from the early 1700s, late 1600s, that were highly sought after. Some of these go into the 1800s too. But these are like, if you wanted a gun in the 1700s and you wanted the nicest money you could buy, you'd go to London. That was one of the centers of gun making at the time. And as with any luxury good, there were high-end makers. And if you wanted to show off your wealth and have a status symbol, you bought the luxury goods from the high-end makers. And that's what some of these pistols are. They are certainly capable firearms, but they're also a bit of show.
Fashion statement.
That's right. They're a bit of a fashion statement. And with any fashion item, there's always a good one. So this pistol here is called a Segless. This is actually made in Belgium. And it's called a Segless because there was an English gun maker by the name of Segalis. And he was one of the fancy ones. But if you didn't quite have Segalis money, you could go across the English Channel into Belgium, get yourself a Segless. And in the distance, it's nice and shiny too. Nobody knows the difference.
Yeah.
And you can have your knockoff corner market
Okay.
flintlock. And what's really interesting, this is really down in the weeds for technical, but you see how this pistol here has that bar on the back of the grip?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's actually an early safety. So that's a tang safety. So when you got everything loaded up, the pan is closed, and the hammer's to half cock, you can actually slide that bar forward and it will lock this frizzen and the hammer in place.
Ah, right. Okay.
So you can't fire it.
Yeah.
And it has a little notch on the hammer that's what knocks it in place. And so whoever made this either knew about that and didn't understand it, or knew about it and just wanted to take the time. But they did take the time to make the notch, but left the whole rest of the safety off. So
Definitely a copy.
They never quite get it right, do
they
they?
never quite get it right. And the spelling's wrong and all that.
Yeah, I noticed it was spelled different.
So, But that's what all these drawers are full of, extra firearms from a given time period to show people
Wow.
what we got. So we'll keep going this way.
There's screens in there.
If you see something that you really want to know more about, let me know. I haven't skipped over anything yet that you really want to see.
No.
Okay. So,
Well, we're stuff.
that's right. So over here, there's several galleries to the museum. So this one is a chronology of firearms history. Then we have Firearms of the West, military firearms, embellished firearms, all the different categories, all different themes that we talk about. One of those being Firearms of the West. So all these guns behind us are guns from pop culture. So any Longmire TV show. It's more legit. Okay.
Yep.
So the rifle, 1911 and Glock are from the show.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's so cool. We love that show.
Yeah, that was a cool
I wish
show.
they made more.
Yeah. So those are all from the show. We actually had the book author series, or the book series author here a couple months ago. He did a program. We had those guns out for that program.
Because that show was based in Wyoming, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
In the fictional Absaroka County.
Yeah. Long
The author
night.
lives in
You haven't seen it.
The rifle next to it is from Zane Grey. Any Old West movie fans?
Maybe a few spaghetti westerns here and there.
Okay. So the gun there with the coin in it is from the movie Winchester 73 with Jimmy Stewart. It's pretty well known in the States. The main character is this rifle that the main character is chasing this rifle that he won in competition and then lost. And that was actually the gun that did all the shooting. So that's a Winchester Model 71 that did all the actual shooting for Winchester 73, and then it's signed by the cast with one of the coins that was shot in the movie.
That's cool.
And then the guns behind you are all from a couple actually named Bob and Becky Munden. And anybody notice anything weird besides the shiny about those guys?
Yeah,
Okay,
roses.
The hammers. So the hammers have all been modified for quick draw competition, which is a sport where you can go try and be fast as a Old West gunfighter.
Yeah.
And so Bob was, and I think still is in some cases, the world record holder for quick draw. He's since passed, but he was very famous for being probably the fastest man who has ever lived with a 6-shooter. And you can see that holster, it's angled. So in these competitions, you wear kind of special rig, have some specialized firearms, and it is how fast can you get the gun out of the holster and pull a shot and hit a target. And he is unbelievably fast. If you ever look up his videos, you see all the hammers are modified to fan the hammer. That wasn't really a common Old West practice.
Yeah.
It's something Hollywood has embellished, as they do.
Yeah.
But for competitions like that, he had some specially modified guns to do that.
I think I have seen some clips. I don't know if it was him or it was someone else, but it was like they had these, I think it was 2 or 3 balloons, and they pull it out, and it's like all the balloons pop at the same time.
Yeah, he was pretty famous for that shot. So that was probably Bob. He was famous for having multiple balloons up, pulling and shooting what sounded to everybody around him like one shot, and was actually 2.
Yeah.
Now watch again carefully in slow motion. In 1/10 of a second, he fires off not 1 but 2 shots, hitting both balloons dead on.
Because he was just
So fast.
almost inhumanly fast.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
No, I remember being amazed at something like that. I don't know if it's him. Wow.
So we're going to take a detour. We're going to head down this way. We can keep going to the end of the timeline, or we can go into Guns of the West. So.
Wait, shooting upside down.
Oh, yeah.
And military. The European settlement. You get a broken gun stock. You can fashion something out of it. Everything's useful, even something that's busted.
Yeah.
So these are around. They're kind of a known artifact from firearms being repurposed. Although Native Americans sometimes are portrayed as not using firearms, they were pretty eager adopters of firearms.
Yeah.
So they use firearms pretty heavily, but also didn't waste their busted ones either. They repurposed them into something useful.
So how did natives shape metal? Were they?
Generally, they would be trading for it, or it depends. There's a lot of different time frames when you're talking about the colonial period in the U.S. And so, if it's a time when they have, say, a treaty with the French or the British or the Dutch or whoever, they have access to blacksmiths and gunsmiths and that kind of thing.
Okay.
That varies from as the treaties change and that kind of thing. But
So they weren't doing it themselves. They weren't like fashioning.
there is some metalwork within Native American communities, but primarily for like steel and stuff, European metals. Those they would be maybe working with an ally.
Okay.
Ally to use.
Yeah, because I just don't ever remember seeing anything about like native blacksmiths or anything like that. And
It's not hugely common.
yeah.
But and then if you're a Western movie fan, Jeremiah Johnson with Robert Redford is portraying him. The actual liver-eating Johnson's rifle is here, a Hawken rifle with a big heavy barrel, classic Plains rifle.
Yeah.
That belonged to the real life Jeremiah Johnson, and most people ask us for the movie version, but we have the real one.
Yeah.
And he's an interesting figure because he fought, a very long lifespan. Not all of these mountain men lived they lived hard lives, so they didn't all live super long. But he actually fought in the Mexican-American War in the 1840s and passed away in a veterans home in Los Angeles in like 1901. So
Oh, wow.
kind of wild. He lived that long. And then one guy I always point out here, this gold-plated one. You guys drove past Cassie's on the way here.
Yep.
So Cassie's Supper Club got its start as a brothel. I'll try and keep this as PG as possible.
Yep.
But this actually belonged to the Cassie Waters of Cassie's Supper Club. The restaurant today sits on the site of the historic brothel.
Yep.
Cody was not necessarily a super Western town. So like you think like Hell on Wheels or railroad or mining. When Buffalo Bill founded Cody, he was really focused on promoting this area for tourism. He built a hotel here. They did the irrigation project. He wanted people this to be a gateway to Yellowstone. So
Right.
unusual for an old Western town. Cody was tourism focused, not railroad or whatever focused.
Yeah.
However, the one thing Cody had in common with all the other Western towns was Cassie's profession. And this is a gift to her. And somewhat mysteriously, we don't exactly know who gave it to her, but we think we know. There was a doctor in town at the time.
Yep.
And he got run out of town when Cassie and his wife showed up to the same store on the same day with the same dress from the same guy, which is really Bush League. Like, if you're playing that game, don't give the same present to both sides.
Yep.
But this is a gold-plated and pearl-handed revolver. The one other thing that's unusual for a gift like this, it's a Hopkins & Allen, which at the time was considered a pretty cheap revolver. Inexpensive, we'll say. So for a gift, you really want to get somebody, I would say, like a Smith & Wesson and get that gold-plated, but I guess you didn't have the best judgment. So
True.
that was a gift. That's one of our few local connections. Kind of like I mentioned, this collection, since it was built by Winchester, is this technical collection. We don't have as many of those local stories like the Buffalo Bill Museum or things like that. But that one's one of our local connections.
Right. Is that what Han Solo's pistol's based
That
on?
is what Han Solo's pistol is based on.
Oh, and Red Dead Redemption, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, I remember that.
Anybody played Red Dead Redemption?
Finished both of them.
Okay, so C96 is in both, and it seems a little bit weird to be in game. These were actually advertised out west, believe it or not. So that gun did exist in the American West. As hard as believe they were sold in the U.S. before World War I. And one of the advertisements actually out of the importing firm that was in New York claimed it was the best firearm available for lawmen and frontiersmen and homesteaders because of touting all of its positive qualities, and it was actually directly targeted for advertising. And if you look around in Old West photos, I think there's at least three known examples. Well, there's three photos that I've seen, anyways, that are like of sheriff's deputies or lawmen carrying where clearly C96s because they're so distinctive. So
Wow.
it's not totally wrong for Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. they remind me of Ruger a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we stuck one in this gallery too.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a detour into our military gallery, and then we'll wrap through our conversation. Gavin, maybe hit Art if we have time downstairs.
I shot that too.
You shot it.
Yeah. Shot a Gatling gun.
So this gallery is all about our military history military firearms. So we sort of start a progression again from the early colonial period in North America through the American Revolution, the Civil War, and then we work our way around to World War I and World War II.
Nice.
And we have all these big pull-out racks where you can see
That is
extras
so cool.
from the collection, if you like.
So cool.
That is such an amazing display.
Wow. They look like pirates.
Well, the one was a blunderbuss, a sea service blunderbuss, so that's why it looks like that.
Look at that.
So, I don't want to bust your bubble about shooting the Gatling gun because it was a lot of fun. The originals actually had a higher rate of fire. So the one you shot fires on the top and the bottom of each crank.
Yeah.
The original would actually fire at each position in the crank. So there's about 10. So for one rotation, depending on how it was geared, they're all geared a little bit different. One rotation on the originals would get you 10 shots. On the modern ones, generally get you 2.
Oh, okay.
He did say it was slightly different, yeah.
Yeah.
It's slightly different in that way. It's a
Okay.
little bit slower.
Why? Why is that?
The gearing system's different, and the modern ones are usually slightly smaller scale.
Okay.
So I don't know if there are any modern ones that do gear it that way, or if you could change the gearing to them if you wanted to. But
Yeah. It's just about the internals and stuff.
yeah. One of the firearms I always start with in here, since it's just sort of different from what we expect. The whole purpose of this gallery is hopefully to talk about how firearms have impacted the soldier's experience. And if you were a soldier in the 1600s, your experience was very different from today. So
What are you looking for?
this one, everybody remember what I called it out in the other gallery? Hence the match cord.
Can't remember.
Matchlock.
Ah,
So this one's
right.
got that one has the cord in the serpentine. It looks a little bit different than the one we already looked at, but this is a matchlock musket. And if you were a soldier from, say, 1600 to 1680, yes. Rolling blocks around the corner in the western pullouts. There's a bunch that say Remington, and they're in there.
They have the orange frame.
So, see this image of this soldier here? That is from a manual from the 1600s about how to be a soldier. And you'll notice he's wearing a bandolier that looks just like that one.
Oh yeah.
He's got a staff in this hand that looks like that one that's a rest.
Yep.
And he's got a musket over his shoulder. He's wearing a sword. And then you can see he's holding something in his far hand that has smoke coming off of it.
Yep.
So he would be keeping his match cord lit at both ends. If
Oh.
one end goes out, you have the other one ready to swap in. And these bandoliers are each hold 1 charge of gunpowder.
All right.
So
This is all measured
you're
out.
marching around. This hand's full. This hand's full. You're wearing gunpowder and holding a lit match. Life's
Super
rough.
safe. Health and safety, what didn't exist back then.
Yeah. So there's no high vis vests. There's no precautions. It's hope for the best and be careful.
Yeah.
But the step to fire a musket like this manual actually had about 40 steps, between 30 and 40 steps to load and fire your musket if you were in battle, which is a lot to remember.
That's crazy.
And depending on, again, everything changes when you're talking about time period and context and all of that. But if you were a soldier, those 5 shots you got today at CFE was more training than a lot of soldiers ever got live fire.
Wow.
There are time periods when armies are really desperate or countries are in shortage. Early days of the American Civil War is pretty famous for this. You get some basic drill and command, and then you're off to the campaign.
Yeah. Well, after my first grouping, he did say I was combat ready. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of why. Because 5 shots
Yeah.
And you're done.
during the Plains Indian period, the Plains Wars in the U.S. in the 1860s, 70s, and 80s, as the U.S. Army is fighting the various Native American tribes. I think the ration was 20 rounds a year for training per soldier.
Wow.
So it's not a lot.
Yeah.
By today's standards.
A couple of shots a month.
Couple shots a month is
Yeah.
the best. So you want to hear about some more modern ones, some older ones, World War I, World War II? What do you want to hear about next?
I'll probably go World War II.
All right, so we'll keep around this way.
Yeah.
The little 4-barrel with the brick part?
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it.
You want to hear about this one?
Is that the one that you're pointing out?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one's, they made a gun out of it.
In Fortnite.
Thanks for reading the video game.
I've played a lot of video games, and I'm a curator now, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Don't tell them that. So this is a Liberator shotgun. named after the World War II Liberator pistol that we have one of over there.
Yeah.
And the concept's sort of similar. A really cheap, inexpensive gun to send into sort of behind enemy lines or occupied territories and give sort of insurgent movements, friendly insurgent movements, a means to fight back if they didn't have that already.
Oh, okay.
They never actually put these into production. They stayed in the prototype stage. Winchester built several, and we happen to have the several that they built, and so they're pretty rare birds today.
Wow.
That's what they're for.
In terms of like gun collections across the US, where do you guys rank? Like,
Most people tell us number one. When people that experience the museum, like I said at the beginning, we don't have strictly the largest collection. You know, the Smithsonian collection is very large. Springfield Armory is very large. NRA, there's one down in Tulsa, James Davis Museum down there. So there are large collections, but they tend to be focused. Like Springfield only focuses on what they made at Springfield. Right. The Smithsonian collection is focused on like the patent models and the prototypes and sort of really notable other guns. Ours is much more sort of comprehensive, I'd say.
okay, so you guys rank up there, like,
Yeah.
up towards the top.
Yep.
Wow. Did that fire all 4 shells at the same time?
No, that would actually rotate. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
if you see that disc
Yep.
in the back there, that has a rotating firing pin in it. So you fire one at a time.
Okay, but like a bulkier revolver.
Yeah, pretty
mechanism.
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow, that scope on that thing is insane.
That is Gen 0 night vision. So this is the top is actually a big infrared lamp, and then the optic is actually made to pick up the lamp. So that's like shining a giant IR flashlight.
Yeah.
And then that is tuned to pick up whatever that hits.
Okay.
It's big and it's bulky. It actually came out during World War II, the end stages of World War II.
Wow.
And it would come along with a giant backpack where you wore your battery.
Was it used?
It was used. The first uses of it were during the Battle of Okinawa in the Pacific.
Wow.
What happened really quickly is because it's so bulky, they sort of used it at night for like, you know, they dig in for the night and they put it out on the sort of observation post, the front part of the battle line as an early warning. So, you know, if it's really dark out, this thing, you know, by today's standards is really terrible night vision.
Yeah.
But if you have no night vision, it's better than that.
Okay.
And if you're expecting a nighttime attack, as often happened in the Pacific campaign and in Korea, a little bit of early warning might save the line. So they tend to use it as sort of observer positions.
Yeah.
Fire some warning shots and get everybody into action.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Oh wow. What is this?
So that's an M2 you can get your hands on.
Is this the one that they were firing today in the next to the Gatling gun?
So this is large. So they were firing the 30 cal version next to the Gatling gun. This would be the 50 cal version. This is meant for visitors to get the feel of one. It did cycle on an air compressor, but like last week our air compressor died. Oh, really? We're waiting on some replacement parts.
Oh wow.
So
Oh yeah, I see that. So it actually would like fire like
yeah,
dry-
so
dry
yeah,
fire.
it would dry fire off the air compressor for people to feel.
Wow. So cool.
Is that cool?
And if you're a
Then?
World War II buff, there you go. So all the firearms are about halfway down. Over are various Axis and Allied power military firearms from the war. Some pretty iconic stuff. M1 Garand over there. Some light machine guns. Neat stuff like the Japanese paratrooper rifle that breaks in half. Oh, that's cool. Any favorites from the time period?
Is that, have you got Hitler's buzzsaw?
Yep.
Yeah.
MG42.
Yeah.
Right here.
Wow.
The guy that was.
Which is mostly still in service with a couple militaries today. Is the Italians use it as like the MG59, and the Germans use it as the MG3. They're basically just rebuilt MG42s.
So the platform is still kind of.
Yeah, the platform's still around. It was also pretty influential in stuff like
Which one is it?
the USM60.
The bottom one.
Yeah. Do you have a stem?
We do have a stand. I think we're actually going to.
Fortnite also made a gun of this.
Pardon?
Fortnite also made a gun of this, the bottom one.
Oh, really?
Yep. With the round top, big barrel. Pretty sure it was called Flapjack.
Flapjack.
Yeah.
This is a. I'm not looking at the label. That's like a Steyr S34.
G41.
I was going to say, I don't want to alarm you, but one's missing.
MP34.
Oh, MP34.
Don't worry. If the note's there, that means we took it out.
Okay, good.
If there's no note, then we have a problem. The Luger's a classic.
Yeah.
P38's a classic.
Yeah.
Any Battlefield 1 players in the audience?
Yeah, I played a little bit.
Okay. Pedersen device. The 1903 experimental in game.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So we have just down there. This is World War I now.
Yeah.
But these are quite rare today. There's only about probably less than 30 that still exist.
Wow.
They were made as a trial or sort of a secret project that was supposed to win the Allied 1919 offensive that they were building up for, and then Germany collapsed in 18, and they didn't need them, and so then they actually melted them all down. So only a few survived.
Oh, wow.
So they're very, very rare.
Yeah.
Very common in game, very rare out of game.
What's the shotgun called? Like, was it the trench something or the?
So that's one of these.
Yes.
So that is that's a model 1897 Winchester shotgun. Takes that great big bayonet up there.
Yeah.
It also can go on that rifle up there.
Wow.
But it's one of those.
That's crazy. Any flamethrowers?
No flamethrowers. So we very narrowly stick to firearms. And their components.
And it's not technically a firearm.
Not technically. Well, I guess you could make the case for it. It is an arm that fires.
I love this.
I can see how some guys would just spend hours in here.
So what we tell everybody is that our ticket's good for 2 days for a reason.
Oh, yeah, true.
This is so cool. I remember these too.
Yep.
The Brownings.
So this VAR,
Yeah.
Winchester was actually a pretty key player in manufacturing these during the war. This one is serial number 4. So we have
Wow.
A and B pre-production guns, and this is the lowest number of production gun that I'm aware still exists. I don't know where serial number 1 is, but we have number 4.
That's insane.
That is crazy. How did you guys go from being the Buffalo Bill Museum to this gun collection? How did that step happen?
That's a very good question. So we were the Center of the West and Buffalo Bill Museum, Whitney Western Art Museum. Winchester, when they were deciding what to do with their collection, had actually worked on a fundraising commemorative rifle, a Buffalo Bill rifle, with the center a couple years before, and they had a couple sort of high-level folks that were connected to like our trustees at the time. And so as they're thinking about what do we do with this collection, Cody was sort of the short list, and then through that collaboration on the other projects, it quickly became the spot that they decided they wanted to move to, which makes sense because Winchester at the time in the 60s and 70s, with all the spaghetti westerns and all that stuff, they were really, really, really marketing that idea of themselves as like the Western brand.
Right.
So moving the collection out here was like a chance to sort of capitalize on that marketing.
Perfect match.
Yeah. And now we're here.
Yeah.
Are they still finding other guns today, like that people have, or?
Yeah, so we still get firearms in all the time.
Yeah.
So people donate single guns, whole collections. Because we're well known, we get calls from all over the country for people to, I have this firearm, I don't know what to do with it, or I'd like to leave it to you guys because of this, or we turn down most of those offers because we try not to take something just to stick it in storage.
Right.
We want to be
Unless it's really special.
Yeah, I mean, if it's really special, we want to put it on display.
Yeah.
But we have so many firearms that typically what we're being offered is kind of duplicates of what we already have.
Okay.
So we collect duplicates to an extent so that we always have one, something available.
Okay.
But once you have duplicate number 10, 12, 20, 50,
You don't know where to store them.
maybe we don't need 51.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's kind of where we end up.
Are there any guns like missing from the timeline that have never been?
There's definitely gaps in the collection. So I kind of keep like it's not even I have a list of like stuff that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm blanking on what that would be right now, but we always look to fill gaps in the collection.
Yeah.
We definitely have some. Our collection. Yeah, an FG-42. That's a really famous World War II gun that we don't have.
Right.
Does anyone else have it, or is it just not? Is it no one's found them?
Every stinking museum in Europe has one, and there's like 4 in the U.S. So
Okay.
they're hard to come by in the U.S.
What nation were they from?
Germany. So they were.
Okay.
They were German. They're really innovative German airborne rifle for paratroops.
Right.
So the German military after the Battle of Crete, which went pretty disastrously for them thanks to some New Zealand troops. Went terribly for the Germans. They said, we're not doing that again. We need a gun that can be more useful than what we dropped with. And so they said it had to be, something a paratrooper could carry, because they dropped a lot of their guns in canisters, and so then the canisters got separated from the paratroopers.
Okay.
It was kind of a disaster. So they got to be able to carry the gun. It has to be compact. It has to be lightweight, and it has to be full caliber and capable of automatic fire.
Right. Was that the gun they had that when you look at the stock, is it kind of almost like a piece of metal that just comes around, or did it have a full stock?
And that one had a full stock.
Okay.
That one had a full stock.
Yeah.
It has a really distinctive side-mounted magazine instead of a vertical magazine.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And so one of the German designers came up with this gun that met all the requirements, had some pretty innovative recoil dampening features, aggressive muzzle brake, compact, all that stuff. But yeah, they didn't make that many because then they mostly quit airborne operations.
Yeah.
They didn't make a lot. Now they're very, very rare, at least in the U.S.
So when you guys are wanting to get more guns, I'm guessing you guys don't just go into like eBay.
No, not typically. We do occasionally purchase firearms, but it's usually done through, we'll look at some firearm-specific auctions perhaps, or maybe we know the collector that knows the collector that has one.
Right. Connections.
It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we probably buy, 1 to 2 a year, and we get maybe 50 to 100 donated a year. So buying is a small percentage of what we.
Okay.
We are a nonprofit after all. I'm not made of money here.
Yeah, sure.
As I like to say, we put the non in nonprofit.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are probably sitting on like a mountain of wealth, though. I mean, just in terms of assets.
Yeah, in terms of the firearms we have, the collection is sort of priceless. It's hard to imagine what this whole thing would be worth.
Yeah.
But in that sense, we're a little bit of hoarders.
Hunting frontier, log cabin.
Log cabins. Can I interest you?
So all of
Oh, this is cool.
are meant to set up, like in here. This is meant to look a little bit like a store where you would maybe buy guns in late 1900s or
Wow.
late 1800s or the 1900s. The racks, the display racks, are actually copied from a Winchester store manual from about 1920.
Oh,
The advertising is all period advertising from 1900, 1905, that time frame.
this is like out of Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
No woman needs to be without protection, so I can.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Probably like a little ankle mounted one or something.
Look at her posing with her gun. She's
Yeah.
like.
Can we recreate that perfect? Shot for shot remake.
Wow.
The crates down there are actually original Winchester shipping crates. That's how they're shipping guns out to their dealers.
Wow.
Is there ammo in those coloured boxes?
Yep, those are original ammunition boxes from some different companies. Those are Federals. There's some different ones over there. These are, so one of the ways that the company advertises their guns is they put this advertisement here. Brand new model Winchester. This is a 1895 dated advertisement. 18 or $19.50. This one doesn't say it on it, but there's a longer version of this advertisement, and the line below it is can penetrate up to 30 inches of pine board. So
they shot it through.
those are the actual boards they were shooting it through.
Oh,
So
wow.
It went this far.
Wow.
Wow.
That's actually a surprisingly long distance.
That's really impressive.
And there's the shorter ones are actually, so the ones up above are all jacketed bullets, that hard copper jacket help to go further.
Yeah.
The ones below are all what we would call soft point today.
Cause more damage.
So they you notice how the cavity is bigger,
Yeah.
but it's shallower because that expands more quickly and slows down a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So when guns in this time, what was the point of having a gun? Was it for war, or was it for self-protection?
It's a little bit of all of the above. So if you think early 1900s, honestly, the advertising, if you sort of look through the change in vocab and dialect,
that's what I'm
it's some of the
noticing.
same reasons. It's
Yeah.
like personal protection
Yeah.
or, hunting. Some of these cartridges would be, look how powerful they are. They can take down big game.
Yeah.
So it's really a mix of the same kind of things you would see today
Yeah.
if you just change the dialect a bit. So personal protection is a big one. Hunting's a big one. Recreation is more and more common in this time frame.
Yeah.
So some guns are being marketed just for recreational purposes, which was not as common, say, in the 1800s.
Yeah. And also things were just probably a little more lawless back then, and it's almost like as a citizen you kind of had to carry a little bit of the law yourself, you know, like.
That's certainly some of it. It depends on, it's heavily dependent on very specific jurisdiction. So, you know, like the Sullivan Act in New York City is like 1911, so that pretty heavily regulates carry. But somewhere out west, might not at all. You know, Wyoming is a little bit different in 1911 than New York City.
Yeah.
It's still very, you know, we don't think of 1911 as the frontier, but 1911 probably doesn't look that different in Wyoming than 1895.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all a lot of the same reasons we see today, and like you said, some of it is, if you're in Wyoming in 1911, it doesn't look that different from the frontier. You still got to take care of yourself. So,
Yeah.
whether that means food on the table through hunting or personal protection, a gun's probably useful for both.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
guns had become a little bit more affordable by this time frame too. So 1860s, a Winchester, you know, if you're headed out west to Homestead, a Winchester was probably a month's wage or more.
Wow.
By here, we're talking more like a week's wage or something like that. So more affordable.
Is it because there were more guns available?
Better wages, and the Winchester had begun producing, they had grown so much as a company that sort of the economy of scale, they had gotten, you know, cheaper to make, more efficient to make.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't think I have any bottles of water left in the bookstore. I may.
Here you go, Dennis.
Gloves required.
Oh,
Show and tell.
bro.
Pearl, Denzel, leave your lemonade over here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There are collection pieces.
Yes, my
So the only time you need to wear gloves is officially when you're handling something. So
Oh,
for
wow.
people who,
Okay.
yes, I want to be Michael Jackson. Give me some gloves. And some of them might have some holes. So
Yeah, mine's got a hole, but that's right.
One size fits most.
generally, yes, one size missing.
Yeah,
Fits
it
most.
fits.
If I can have you guys hang out on this corner over
Yep.
here, because I'm going to keep my safe directions of this wall and this wall. So these guns are unloaded. As you guys heard the safety talk this morning at CFE, we try and maintain our 4 rules of gun safety, but we have to be a little bit different in museum land because we don't want to risk, these are all original pieces, we don't want to risk damage to artifacts. So we don't want to work the actions open and closed a bunch. You know, when he went to clear a gun at the end, he would rack the lever like 3 or 4 times. We try not to do that to these because they're very old.
Okay.
So I'm not going to demonstrate that these are clear. You'll have to take my word for it. That's not the normal practice. If you tell that to a gun range, they'll be like, what? Those guys are so unsafe. But we're trying to take care of the artifact safety. So we're going to observe other firearm safety practices. Ammunition never comes in this room. We don't pull the triggers. We don't put our fingers on the trigger except occasionally to close an action if we have to. We will open the action perhaps once, but we won't be working back and forth.
Okay.
And we'll keep a safe direction at all times.
Cool.
So, with all the gun safety stuff covered, any questions about that?
No.
Okay. I pulled a selection of guns based on kind of what you had talked about earlier. We talked about some Old West guns. You mentioned some World War II guns. And then, since he mentioned Fortnite and I got him to mention Call of Duty, I pulled what is kind of a Call of Duty gun. So where do you want to start?
So cool.
From oldest to newest?
Oldest to newest, that works. So this one's our oldest, is right here. So this is the holy grail of Winchester collecting. This is a model 1873. It was Winchester's sort of flagship model from the 1870s until the late 1800s. Some people have called the model 1873 the gun that won the West.
Yeah.
That's mostly a 20th century Winchester marketing term, more than it was reality. These guns were common in the West,
Yeah.
but mostly they were used with, it was mostly up to the Army to enforce treaties and protect settlement and do all that kind of westward movement.
Yeah.
The 73 would have been in the hands of Native Americans, settlers, that kind of thing.
Wait, who shot that one today?
Me.
You.
So you shot the 73 today.
Lucky.
So this is the real deal 73, and the reason why I said this one's the holy grail is because just on the top of the barrel there, very faintly, is written 1 of 1,000.
Oh, wow.
So Winchester had the great idea that in the 1870s they would market a higher grade of the rifle as 1 of 1,000. So they claimed that they tested every 1,000 guns for the most accurate one of that 1,000, and then made that as a special edition gun, the 1 of 1,000. There's a couple problems with that. They sold about 700,000 guns. They only made 150 of these. So the ratio is off.
Yep.
There's also a problem where they show up all together in the records. I think the most we see at once is 5, Jesse? If I'm right.
Yeah, 5 to 10.
So really what we think they were doing is making these to order, and the marketing was a bit of
And a lot of them look
a little white lie.
Bit of a gimmick.
Bit of a gimmick.
Yeah.
They did not sell well. They were not popular because they were really expensive. So if you think the regular Winchester was about $30, and that's about a month's wages, you know, a cowboy might make $1 a day. This gun costs like $125, something like that. So you're talking about half a year's wages, 4 months' wages, somewhere in there. So it's really expensive. So it just wasn't popular. It didn't sell well. So they dropped the whole thing after a couple of years. But because they didn't sell well, and they only made 150 of them, and there's lots of Winchester collectors, these have become the kind of holy grail of Winchester collecting.
You mean just the 73 or the 1 of 1,000?
The 1 of 1,000.
Okay.
So you can get a 73 if you're a Winchester collector. You can get a lot of really nice 73s. But if you want to be like top of the heap Winchester collector, you really want one of these in your collection.
Wow.
That will letter.
That will letter, because there's a lot of fakes. There's a lot of fakes. And we happen to have 4 in our collection between us of 73s and 76s. And then I'll talk through them all and then give you guys a chance to handle whichever ones you want, if that's all right.
Cool.
Okay. Next one, and this is the one that's this may be one of the best guns in the collection. I actually pulled this one off display for you guys.
Oh,
So only my favorite people from New Zealand get that. The rest of New Zealand doesn't get this. This is one of Annie Oakley's. 1892. Who shot the 1892?
Sam?
You shot the 92?
I bet Annie was a better shot.
Oh, the flintlock.
Oh, maybe I did.
92.
I think I did that.
I think it was you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a Winchester 1892. This was sort of meant to be the replacement to the 73. It's more compact. It's a little bit stronger design, invented by John Moses Browning. The visual difference, this big side plate here, is a little bit different. The receiver's smaller, has this short loading gate. But this was one of Annie Oakley's favorites, was the 92.
Was
She had a
that
couple of
actual
them.
gun shot by her? Like, is that
This
her?
actual gun was shot and owned by Annie Oakley.
Wow.
This is the real deal.
That's so cool.
It's gold plated, you'll note.
So she got all that fancy stuff done.
She had all this fancy stuff done from the factory. And even when you handle this, I will let you handle it very carefully. I will be very, very close.
Okay.
Is her name is stamped into the wood right there
Wow.
on both sides.
Wow.
That's so
So
cool.
were there certain places that you could just take your firearm to and they would do everything that you wanted to, like, customize it? So,
Winchester at the time was pretty famous for, they would do any custom feature you wanted as long as you paid for it.
So you go directly to Winchester?
You would go, she very likely went to the factory.
Oh, right. Okay.
We know she went to the factory a couple times. Buffalo Bill, the Wild West show, actually was sponsored for a time by Winchester, sort of like, see Nike on the jerseys today. That was, Winchester did that for the Wild West.
Man, he was onto
show.
it, eh?
Wow.
So
right.
this is an Annie Oakley, likely performance used firearm. We don't know for sure, but likely used within one of the arenas she performed in.
That's beautiful.
So that's that one. And then we take a jump in history to both time and topic. But since you guys are with us from New Zealand, this is a British pattern 14 rifle made by Winchester during World War I, issued out to the British, put back in stocks between the war, and then reissued to New Zealand troops
Wow.
during the war as a sniper rifle. So it's got a scope there, as you can see. Winchester had a bit of a problem with the British during World War I. So World War I breaks out. All the powers sort of underestimate what they need for resources. Everybody goes to war. They run out of manufacturing capacity almost immediately. So they all struggle with what to do. So with the Allied powers that still had access to the US, they came to America and to the one untapped arms manufacturing industry left in the world, which is American gun makers. And they ordered all these contracts for firearms from the US. Winchester was among them. The British ordered heavily from Winchester to build this pattern 14 rifle. The only problem being they immediately didn't get along. So we have lots of letters at the factory. You're thinking there's a war on, we got to win it, we got to be patriotic. Mostly they just bickered. They argued with each other. The trigger weights weren't right. The barrels weren't straight. This was wrong. That was wrong. So the contract was really delayed, really overrun. And eventually, they canceled. They ended it and didn't produce anymore. So they made about 200,000 guns. Winchester maintained that they, of the 3 contractors building these rifles for the British, theirs were regarded as the most accurate. That might have been a little bit of company lore, but we do know that a lot of Winchesters ended up built into sniper rifles once they entered British and Commonwealth service.
Yeah.
And then again, they were repurposed in World War II. Mostly the P-14s were not reissued as general purpose rifles. They were only reissued occasionally as sniper rifles. But this one has the markings for a New Zealand issue. So I thought I would pull that one.
That's for you guys.
That's cool.
That's special.
That is.
And then we talked about the Liberator shotgun, but not the Liberator pistol. So do you know what the Liberator pistol is? Anyone?
If you showed it to me, I'd probably say I recognize it.
So it's this terrible small junky handgun that was made at $1 per unit, and they made 1 million units with the idea that they would drop these into France and occupied territory so that French resistance and others could sneak up on a German, assassinate him, and take his gun. They're very, say, low function. They're not very functional pistols. They're single shot. Have to manually reload each time. They're not very accurate. They're not very long range. They're definitely meant to be mass produced, dropped everywhere. What they ended up discovering is that they didn't drop very many, if any at all. It's hard to get numbers on how many they did drop, but they could drop a lot of other guns. Why give them a crappy gun and make them work for it when we could just give them real guns? So that's what ended up going to occupied territories a bunch through OSS and SOE and other organizations during the war. But that project has fascinated people ever since, and we have the original Liberator pistol on display, and I was going to point it out while we were up there, but we kept moving. But this is one of the very rare original boxes for one. So when we go, so yeah, you probably see this pistol. And what's cool about this is because they were dropping them into all these foreign territories, is everything was pictorial. So they did a picture of the box, what it was in it, and then when you open this box, there'd be a pistol inside. I think 12 or 13 rounds of ammunition, and an instruction sheet that was all visual. So no printed instructions, just pictures on what to do to go kill a Nazi and take his gun.
Wow.
So,
was that the box that they were dropped in? So they were just...
We don't know if they were intended to be dropped in these boxes. I'd have to look that up, but this was how they packaged them, leaving General Motors,
Wow.
who made all of them.
That's crazy.
And then the most modern gun, I'll talk about it from over here since I'm far away. That is a Shaytac M200 Intervention, made famous by Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and actually, it was actually one of our most recent donations. The manufacturer gave that to us with a factory custom Modern Warfare 2 fall camo. So fall camo in Modern Warfare 2 was the hardest one to unlock.
Oh, really? Okay.
I know that because I did it in game. But when we approached them about potentially getting one of these, the reason we did this is because we have a lot of folks coming to the museum who have come to experience firearms through video games. So then an older generation knew Winchester from the old westerns, right?
True.
More and more people know firearms. Their first experience with firearms isn't on the range, isn't with family, it's through video games.
Yep.
There are some positives with that. You could argue maybe there's some negatives with that, but for whatever reason, that is the trend, and we wanted to get some pieces that would help connect with that. So this is one of them. The gaudy paint scheme aside, I was really nervous to ask them to custom match that paint because it matches the skin in game. They were super excited about it.
Oh, really?
Because they market this as a very serious long range, military and target rifle, designed to shoot a couple miles and all. So being a little bit video game sided, I was worried they'd be like, "Get out of here! Don't talk to us again."
What caliber is that one again?
This is in 408 Shaytac, which is a sort of boutique round, we'll say, meant for long range shooting, very long range shooting.
So not a very common round.
Not very common at all. And this is also the gun that made some YouTube trick shot for video games across the board popular. So that's a whole genre of YouTube videos is in-game trick shots.
Right.
The most famous being the Call of Duty 360 no scope.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
And it was usually done with an intervention. I don't have the correct scope on that. It should really be an ACOG for the 360 no scope if I'm true to form. But if any game popularized trick shooting, I would say this has a contender for being the one.
I'm always hearing him say, "I no scoped him. I no scoped him."
So to no scope, at least in my version of it, in my millennial version of it, was to jump and shoot. Do you want to come and try and pick this thing up?
Oh.
So give me a hand right here,
Do you want to get a photo of it?
and then give me one right here, and then square up to it as much as you can, and lift.
Is it heavy?
What do you think that weighs?
A lot.
I have no clue.
So this is heavy. You remember that giant wheel lock we saw upstairs? This is heavier than that
Wow.
by about 10 pounds.
Wow.
So that if that one weighs 28 pounds, this is I want to say the official weight is like 36. I could be wrong on that. That's
Is
what
it pounds?
Pounds.
So, yeah. Do you want to do the conversion?
What would that be? 17, 18 kilos?
Something like that, yeah.
16.
Atlanta, you should know. You're good at that.
So you want to give it a try?
Okay.
Feel it. So give me a hand here and probably under there.
Oh wow, that is definitely. That's got some weight. Wow. That's not even just trying to be lightweight like at all.
No.
Like, it just feels like a
Imagine
solid
like
chunk of.
So you think you could jump and spin and no scope somebody with that?
Exactly.
But video games are take some liberties. We'll say.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
who wants to handle some of the ones
Oh, we're on
over
the
there?
Yeah.
we're on the
Okay.
unsafe wall. I just realised.
Well, that's why we kept the guns pointed.
Yeah.
So I'll walk around behind you.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Sam, you go first. Yeah. Me.
And probably the easiest way to film so we get the action side of the guns
Yeah.
is if you want to film from this way. Do you want to
Okay.
hit the extra lights too, since we got it dark in here?
So just throw it across here. Yeah.
And
Oh
so
yeah.
I'll have him point the gun this way when I hand it to him.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll
Yeah.
cover it. So you want to come to my left over here? I will point up and over.
Is that Annie's gun?
This is Annie Oakley's.
Wow.
Break it, you buy it.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can't afford that.
Oh, yeah, her initials.
Yep. AO on the side there. and
That's
then
so cool.
If you turn it into the light, you'll be able to see her.
Oh yeah. Wow. And the engraving is amazing. Even in parts that you wouldn't even normally look.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is so cool. That wood, that grain as well. What type of wood is that?
Probably walnut. They mostly use. You could request other woods at Winchester, but they mostly used various grades of walnut.
Wow. That's amazing. How many rounds can it hold?
That one's probably based on the barreling. That's probably 14 plus one.
Oh wow.
Did you say 14 plus
Might be
1?
12. Mm-hmm.
What's the plus 1?
So that's they wouldn't have really thought of that in historical. That's a more modern thing, but that's one in the chamber.
Oh, okay.
So you can load the gun, chamber around, and then top it off, and then you're
Okay.
good. So the magazine capacity is probably 12 or 14 on that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. Nice. Who's up next? Or should I go through all the guns, or should we just do one on each gun? What's the best way?
Yeah. However you guys want
Do
to.
you want to hold? I only want to hold that one.
yeah.
Okay. Go.
That's-
All right.
Only because it's.
We'll go one at a time through this one then.
Yeah, I don't need to hold any other ones.
All right. And just keep me pointing at the wall there. And
I'm the modern day Annie Oakley.
that's right. Based on your shooting
That's
this
what we
morning.
learned.
Oh, I like that engraving. What would they have used for that?
It was usually hand done. So there's a lot of specialty engraving tools. They look like really, really narrow chisels. So you have a small hammer,
Yeah.
and you like tap that into the metal to make your pattern.
Where did you say her name was?
So if you rotate it over the side, yeah,
Oh yeah.
right there, and it's on both sides of the wrist.
Bob.
If I need a,
No, you're good. It's all good.
don't want to ruin a picture
No, you're part of the family.
here.
Yeah, that's cool. It's quite heavy. She must have been quite jacked, I would say.
Yeah.
If she was a gunslinger.
Yeah.
And she was about 5 foot tall.
Was she?
Wow.
So she was real short.
She's like this high.
She was. Yeah. She was a whippersnapper. There you go. Thank you.
Sounds like a firecracker.
Yeah. Auntie, you wanna hold that one? That's the only one I need to hold.
Okay. All right, so give me one hand down here and then one hand up under the wrist. Yep.
Oh yeah. I like the dare.
It's pretty, yeah.
I like all like the dare on it.
Careful, watch the end.
It's really cool.
It's very cool.
James, do you want to hold that one?
No.
Okay.
Definitely comes with the same anxiety levels of holding like a newborn baby.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe more.
Yeah,
Slightly
potentially more, yeah.
I tell people I'm glad I'm not a pottery curator. Guns are pretty durable. I would have broken a pot by now.
Have you ever dropped one?
I haven't dropped a gun fully. I have dropped a part.
Ah, okay.
There's a machine gun that's in the World War I gallery. It's a Villa Perosa.
Yeah.
And I picked that one up one time as we were prepping it for display. And unbeknownst to me, there was a pin that was not secured. So I pick up the gun and I hear this metal on floor noise. And I'm like, oh no, what happened? Luckily, it was a steel pin that had fallen out and no lasting damage other than anxiety for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The whole thing didn't just like crumble.
Right. It didn't go to dust.
The one thing that held everything together.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What's the next one?
Yeah, any of them, I guess. You want to hold on 1/1000? Or the sniper rifle? Or...
Yeah, I'll go for the sniper rifle.
All right. Well, a bit of New Zealand history here.
Yeah, Kiwi rifle. Wow. Is that like original leather and everything too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And even that's got a lot of weight behind it.
How far does that scope see?
It's actually not a super high power. That's probably like a 2 or 3 power scope. I have to look. Typically, military scopes of that era were not super high power. Well, unfortunately, I pointed the guns this way, so I'm comfortable standing down here, but I don't want to put them.
There's more.
But wait, there's more.
So this is what my program
wow.
is. We use this room for our hands-on stuff. So all of the firearms in that Delta cabinet, some are original, some are reproductions,
Yeah.
but it's this idea of, being able to pull out anything from a cowboy gun to a World War II gun to a handgun, to be able to show people and educate them.
Yeah.
But
Can I
getting
try and
you
hold that
actual
one, or-
Yeah.
collection pieces from the
Yeah,
museum.
go for it.
that are-
Walk around the other side there.
Okay.
I'll wait here.
Is that just wanting to like come out?
It wants to slide out, so the stock.
So just be careful.
Okay. So I won't pick it up. Oh, can I pick it up like that?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. That is so heavy.
Here, can you hold it for a minute?
Yep.
No. Don't stand and
Yeah, I can hold it.
I'm gonna take this right out of the way.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't ruin the photo.
All right.
Doesn't look like it's for sale.
Right.
You look like the cat that got the cheese.
I did. Wow. That's crazy. That's a big is that called a muzzle flash?
Muzzle brake.
Muzzle brake. That's it. Yeah. Oh, the flash is what comes out, isn't it?
Dens, were you going to try and hold it and have a photo? You're not strong enough.
I can hide under the table and like.
Yeah.
Just a white glove.
You don't want a
just
photo?
some mysterious hand.
Come on, have a photo. You can send it to your friends.
Right.
So heavy.
No, you don't.
Nah,
Maybe
come
just
on.
don't pick it up, Dens, but just like pretend like it's just wrap your arms around it, pretend you're holding it.
Just Photoshop the table off.
That's
One
so
should
cool.
try to pick it
There
up.
are no other Shade Tech guns like this.
Yeah.
You can send that to your mates on Discord.
Physically.
Sam, take one on your phone for him because
Oh yeah, I'll just go back and do it one more time, sorry, Dens. Poor guy has to do it again.
that was
so cool.
yeah.
So is that just like what you guys? I mean, unless you pull it out of display.
Right. So that's what we all. These are the guns that we call our hands-on collection or reference collection that Kirsten uses in her program, so that people can get. There's a few reproductions in there. They're mostly originals. Going to museum theory, I think there's a lot of significance to be able to connect with the artifact. So we try and have as many period items in there as we can.
Yeah.
But they're kept a little bit separate from the collection, which these are all core collection pieces.
Wow. Wow. That is incredible. Is this a reproduction?
That is a modern built one. it's a little bit disingenuous to call it a reproduction because it's very, very faithful to the originals. But
It does look really modern though, like all the metal and everything looks like really good condition.
When you go throw it off a cliff,
Yeah.
Or something.
So yes, the BAR, the Grand M1 carbine. We have a lot of people who come through who like have the video games, who have veterans in their family. It was the 80th anniversary of Normandy landing, so this is one of the guns that a lot of those veterans would recognize. So when I was curating this kind of hands-on collection, it's like, well, what do people want to actually get to touch? I got into the museum field because I wanted to touch the stuff.
Mm.
So the BAR was one of our most recent acquisitions for this collection, and I kid you not, that's probably one of the most. They see it and they're like, "What's that? I want to hold that."
No, I know. I recognize it straight away.
So they have great taste.
Oh, now he's gonna aim it.
Love it. Is that Buffalo Bill right there on the horse?
Can you get
That
the
is
camera?
what's called the Winchester Rider.
Oh, is
so
it?
Philip Goodwin made that
Oh
image
yeah, so
for
it's Winchester.
Winchester in 1919, I think,
Something like that.
and it's been a part of their marketing ever since.
That is a beauty.
Yeah, you can take them off. Just bring me the camera.
That's not the
Oh,
one that
dins.
required
If you want to hold
a
it,
team.
you can
Did it? Was that another one that I'm thinking of?
See, these were generally part of the rifle squad in the U.S.
Too late,
inventory.
Was there like a requirement to be the type of guy who had to take that? Like, would you have to be like a certain weight? To...
Hilariously, almost many of the accounts of that are like, ironically, the smallest guy in the squad ended up with that sometimes.
I think
Veterans'
lower
memories would be
center of
like,
gravity.
you know,
No, you
I weighed
missed it,
140
Dinzy.
pounds in the military, and I was
He
carrying
was
the
holding
heaviest
the
gun we had.
Was it no, MG42? Was that the German one?
Yes, that was a German one. So that would be a crew served.
What was the US equivalent?
The 1919. So that gun that they fired automatic next to you guys,
Yeah.
that's the 1919.
And that one required like a team of guys, didn't it?
Yeah, the smallest crew for those in the light configuration was a two-man team, but generally more.
Wow.
Because you had your gunner, you had your loader, you usually had an ammo bearer.
Yeah.
And usually other guys in the squad that weren't officially ammo bearers were carrying extra belts.
As the archivist, not that you guys needed anything else, that's the record. Number 23 is the record on that Andy Oakley gun.
Ah, yes.
So my job is to read that and
Wow.
get that information out to, well, nobody else. It should better
On other Winchesters.
on other
People-
Winchesters.
So
is
is
that
that
okay to
re-
be on film?
Is that really old?
Okay.
That writing?
That is their records that they kept
How do
in
you read that? Because I
1896.
can't make out
It's
much.
I've been doing it for 18
Yeah,
years.
Jesse's very good
It's
at
not
it.
that hard. So number 23, it was a completed firearm on June 20th of 1895. It was a rifle, 32 caliber, half octagon barrel, plain trigger, 22-inch barrel, case hardened, checkered stock, shotgun butt, 13.5-inch pull, 2.25-inch drop, Winchester Express front and rear sight 3.5 inches from shoulder of barrel. Engraved $10.
That's
So it
probably
shipped
the-
out originally June of 1896.
Wait, where's the $10? Oh, up there, yeah.
Engraved
yeah,
$10.
Yeah.
And then it came back
Wow.
a few times probably to be prettied up.
So you have to
Because
be
if it
able,
was a show gun, that it would have been.
Yeah.
you have to be able
Wow.
to read old cursive and
Yeah.
Winchester factory shorthand,
Yeah.
which is its own language. And
Okay.
Jesse's good at both.
Yeah. Wow. I'm like, I couldn't even
Wow.
see a single word.
There aren't that many words
So,
in there.
I don't know, most U.S. schools don't teach cursive anymore. I don't
No,
know if
they
that was
don't.
a thing in New Zealand or not.
No, it's gone out in New Zealand.
No.
As well.
So my favorite trivia fact about Jessie,
Yeah.
her school taught her to write in italics and not cursive.
Oh, what?
Whoa.
I think that's weird. So I tell everybody I
Danny is
can.
my oddities. We've known each other way too long.
Wow, that's so
That's my
cool.
Jessie trivia for the day.
Okay.
So what curriculum do you guys use?
We actually use an American curriculum. ABEC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had that in my elementary school.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's what they're on. Yeah.
But again, thank you so much, guys. It was absolutely amazing.
Get from errands and too much in town. I know you had a couple things to do before you called it a night, but thanks for spending so much time with us.
Yeah,
No, it
thank
was-
you so much.
It was honestly our honor to
This
be
is
here.
fun. We love doing this.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
More
I
than
have
expected,
a few
probably.
goodies for you guys.
Oh wow.
So first off is you get your very own Buffalo Bill on a Buffalo Buck and Bullfrog. So
Oh.
there's stickers for everybody. So make
The
sure to share.
Italian Bologna
Yeah.
connection.
Frog bolognese.
That is our exclusive tours logo because it hangs in the depot where I work. So we just figured it makes people stop, it makes people ask questions,
Yeah.
and that's what I love. Some other stuff. So these are 2 limited edition Cody Firearms Museum coloring books.
Ooh.
So if you need something to entertain yourself on these road trips and whatnot, there's a little bit of history in each of them, and then it features some of our artifacts, guns, tools, posters. Just some cool stuff.
That is cool.
And then Dana's going to go grab something else, but then this is also a book that actually Danny wrote, and it showcases some of our archival resources and some of our firearms. So I don't have the right nails to open it, but you are welcome to open it. If you ask really nice, then Danny might sign it. He might blush a little bit. I think that'd be hilarious.
That's so cool.
He thinks it's weird when people fangirl over it.
Aw.
That's awesome.
And so then this last one, I know you guys are flying and whatnot, and this is a little heftier, but this is an actual book from our Buffalo Bill Center of the West collection, and this showcases the art collection that we have. So Art of the American Frontier, which is everything from the masters like Remington, Russell's, some of the big names, to some of the lesser known names.
Wow.
So this is also for you guys as
So
well.
is that the stuff I saw on the wall? Those,
Yes.
Oh, I love
That
that.
is incredible.
I love that.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can we get your autograph on
Yeah.
the book?
Sure.
Can you?
I also have a stack of
Go
CFM
find a
patches
Sharpie.
for you guys.
Probably.
Oh wow. Awesome. Oh, patches. Cool, Dan.
That is so
He can put that on his airsoft gear.
Yeah.
I have a pen.
Be a CFM sponsored airsofter.
Yeah.
Do you want a pen or do you want a Sharpie?
Sharpie would be good.
Yeah, I
don't
don't have
Sharpie.
I have a pen, but that's.
And maybe something to open the book with.
Oh, yeah.
Danny doesn't have a knife in this
Oh,
book?
I do. I finally started carrying a knife.
Danny!
There.
Oh, it's much cooler out here.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's so cool.
Signed by the man himself.
Now we're all going to watch you try and open this. No pressure.
Patches are cool, that ends.
Yeah.
You can give some to like Nelson and Noah and stuff as well.
So cool.
You can give. You can.
What are they for?
They would love that if you guys were all running around playing
Anything.
patches for on like
Airsoft.
military gear and stuff
Yeah, that's cool.
on your vests.
Any particular
No,
you'd like it to?
just
Just your New Zealand family.
your New Zealand family.
You use a lot of dark blue.
I did use a lot.
Or you could say to my New Zealand family.
To my favorite New Zealand family.
Yeah. When did you write the book?
3 years ago.
Has it been
Look
3
at me, I don't know what your writing
Right.
schedule is. I just tell you to do it. Yeah, it was 2 years ago because it was in contingent with our last temporary exhibit gallery upstairs.
That's cool. How long did
Wow.
it take you to write it?
Thank you, guys.
That one was relatively easier. Exhibit catalog, since we do most of the writing when I do the exhibit, so then translating that into the book is more editing than writing, I would say.
Yeah.
So the exhibit writing took a few months, 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool.
And is that on the behalf of the museum or is it a personal thing?
So that was on the museum. That was my day job.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
We didn't get into the rest of the CFM. The temporary exhibit space.
Yeah.
That is now Guns of
Buffalo Bill's Wild West.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Annie Oakley gun came from. It's currently
Yeah.
upstairs.
No,
No,
it's
it's
currently
upstairs.
down here.
I'd never heard of Annie Oakley before today.
I don't.
I'm a big fan.
I didn't know like what she did, but I remember her name.
Yeah, I'd heard of the name.
The
Yeah.
reason I pulled her gun instead of the Buffalo Bill one is actually
Because Nadine is such a good shot.
because you're such a good shot, and because even though we're the Buffalo Bill Center of the West, our probably #1 search term is actually Annie Oakley.
Really?
Wow.
That's people to us.
Oh, wow.
She's more famous than the man himself.
Really?
I think
That's-
she has a museum over in Ohio because that's where she originally was from.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's so cool. Again, thank you so much for the tour, guys. It was a world-class tour.
Thank you.
really was.
Very
Trust
much.
as it was, and thank you, Dana, as well.
Very
For
nice meeting you.
You too.
So much.
that was amazing.